there, welcome to this preschool box tour from the Gentle and Classical Press. Today we're going to be taking you through a printed preschool bundle because we want you to know exactly what to expect. If preschool is new to you, we encourage you to watch our video that introduces the Gentle and Classical philosophy and also talks about the philosophy and the purposes behind the Gentle and Classical Preschool. So let's dive into the box and see what all is included. Whenever you open your preschool box, everything is going to be packaged and shrink wrapped. Some of these have already been opened because I want to be able to take you through them. The very first thing you're going to see on top that is also available in the digital version in the Get Started Here or Start Here file is the Getting Started Guide. This guide walks you through some of the basic terms that you need to know and then what you should be finding inside of your box. It's also going to take you on a tour of your box, so I really encourage you to take all the pieces out, and as you read about each piece, go ahead and look through it and familiarize yourself with it so that you don't feel confused as you start organizing your materials. There's the last few things, and then we have the step-by-step getting started checklist. Now it's really not as complicated as a full piece of paper, but we want to make sure that if you're feeling overwhelmed by the different pieces that come inside of your box, that you have a way to look and know exactly how to organize these so that this program becomes open and go throughout the year. Now, just a reminder from our last video, it is really important to this program that you do understand our philosophy of education, and that comes from the Teacher's Guide. Our Gentle and Classical Preschool Teacher's Guide is completely for free. You can download it and read it today with absolutely no cost, no investment, no obligation whatsoever. So we don't just want you to do that, we beg you to do that before you spend any money with us, because it's really important to us, and the reason the Teacher's Guides are free, that you understand our philosophy of education and that you agree with it, because nothing stinks more than investing into a curriculum, getting that box in the mail, opening up with all the enthusiasm in the world, and then instantly feeling either overwhelmed or like your expectations weren't met. That stinks. It happens to everyone, and we don't want it to happen with any of our programs. So if you'll download that preschool guide, watch the YouTube videos that we've provided, read through it, make sure that you and I are on the same page about what is important and is to be elevated in the preschool years. Hint, it is not scripted program, and we do not elevate ABCs and 1, 2, 3s over the knowledge of God and the knowledge that we were created in His image. We are a virtue first, God first, foundational, developmentally appropriate program that is not worried about making sure that our 3-year-old has a proper pencil grip. That's just not who we are. There are great programs out there that do that, but that's not our purpose because those already exist. Our purpose is to focus on whole person development, emotional intelligence, connection, building a culture of love and connection in our families, and developing virtues so we can honor God and love His people well. That is the goal of the Gentle Classical Press and preschool. So we really invite and beg you to read that teacher's guide before you download a single thing or purchase a single thing. Now, if you were to buy the digital preschool bundle, you would find a checklist that also tells you how to print the things in a way that will make the most sense for their usage. As you'll see in a minute, this grid here reflects the grid that is also found inside of our handicraft and activity guide. So we don't want you to have to be married, and you can download this digitally as well, and you can print this out and you can fill this out how you want it to be filled out if you want to do things a little bit differently than how we have it laid out in the handicraft and activity guide. So of course, first things first, after that getting started guide, you have your teacher's guide. Again, we are pinning a video that you can watch in order to understand better how to use this program and what these unit overview pages even mean and how to go about utilizing them. The next thing you'll find is our handicraft and our activity guide. Handicraft and activity guide is a little bit of a spine to our program. It's just as important as the teacher's guide, and it gives you the weekly grid so you can know exactly what to do. It gives you the big picture and the connection so you can have meaningful conversations with your children about all the connections throughout all of the different books and poetry and nursery rhymes and statements that we're going to be utilizing. It gives you instructions for a specific handicraft that is related to our picture book of the week, along with modifications for older and younger children, more ideas if you want to dig in even deeper, more books if you want to keep the fun going, science activities, and then some encouragement or knowledge or quotes or just helpful words related to literacy in your young child. This book, just like the teacher's guide, is 26 units long. It includes a variety of different activities like sewing, making various instruments, different foods, different hands-on activities that are sensory in nature and get our kids' hands sticky and messy, and so much more. So we really hope that this guide will make your explorations into these preschool books all the more rich and all the more beautiful. And in the back of the book, we offer some templates to use with the different activities. We also offer more grids in a variety of different ways. So here's a completely empty grid. Again, you always get digital files with our print products, so you can print one of these out if that's what you want. And then it just goes all the way to the end. The next thing that you'll find in our handicraft and activity guide is our art and music pack. I'm actually missing the cover of this, so this is not the actual cover. Here we explain what our artist study approach is using Charlotte Mason's words herself, and then an outline of exactly how to walk through those steps with your young child. Then we talk about our classical music study approach, how we use Peter and the Wolf in order to understand better all the different instruments that are in the orchestra, and then the scheduling is broken down as well. You will not find that the artist and the music study is included in these grids. And the reason being is that this is very much a supplement to the other content in the program. Some families use it and some families don't, and we don't want the grid to be overwhelming. So if you're going to be using the artist study, all you want to do is maybe add in a note at the bottom of your page that says we're going to listen to the music this day, or we're going to read a story this day. Keep it simple, keep it light, and don't feel like you have to complicate things at all. And so then we also have the books that we use for Peter and the Wolf, and this is the CD, which you could probably just listen to it on YouTube. And then we also have a storyboard for Peter and the Wolf as well. So the picture down here is related to the three little pigs with primer, but the idea is that you'll use the included pieces from Peter and the Wolf to help your child act out the different instruments and so forth that they are listening to in the story. And we also include instrument flashcards so that they can hold up the instrument whenever they hear it. And we give you those suggestions in this as well. And then of course, because we're studying 3 artists, you will get the artist print, and then they are labeled on the back with the name of the art and the artist. And so we go through Van Gogh, Matisse, and Da Vinci. So that is the art and music pack. It's a small pack, but is, again, it's meant to be very, very supplemental and not overwhelming to you at all. So we keep it very, very light. Next inside of your box, you will find the memory statement cards. These are all in one big shrink wrap pack whenever you receive it, but I do have mine opened up here and sectioned by subject. So what you'll want to do whenever you get this is to put all of the units together. Like, so here's unit 3 of this, and here's unit 3 of this, and so we would make a stack with all the units together and then organize them that way. But this is the card that will tell you what the story is that you're reading that week, along with the poetry for children that are 3 and older. Then you have the math cards, which are a visual representation of the ideas that we are practicing or the concepts that they are learning in preschool math at home that is scheduled inside of the teacher's guide and the handicraft guide. These are the manners and hygiene cards, and they offer a simple statement: I am gentle with small things, and then a fun little poem. When I touch, I must remember small things can break, so I always use my gentle touch for the tiny things' sake. And so these are just really normal, everyday themes and ideas that will become a part of your child's processing and thought patterns as you bring awareness to them. I help protect God's world. I give more than I take. I can be quiet when I'm asked. I dress for the weather. I love to help around the house. I can put on my clothes. So these are all affirmative statements that really encourage them to behave and act on what they're learning with a little poem that you can or cannot memorize, whatever you want to do as you go through these. And then in All About Me, we go through our address, so in our family. So this would be a card that you would put a family picture on, and you would say, my family is Mommy, Daddy, and Daxton. That might be what I put for Daxton, Colton, and Bella, or Callie and Bella. And so that might be what I put here at the bottom. And then we have my state. So the first term, they're learning their personal information. And then in the second term, they are learning about their senses. So we talk about the different senses and how they function. And then in the third term, we talk about our body. So what is our senses? Our belly button and my muscles and my blood and my lungs and all these different things. And so these give a visual representation of what we're reading about in our connected picture books, and also give a little bit more information to help explain the concept to young children. And of course we have scripture memory. So on your scripture memory card, you have the scripture with the citation, and then if you are going to be using the Songs for Saplings CD or song list from Spotify, then it tells you which of the letters is going to correlate with that so that you have a scripture memory song to go with it as well. So we do several scripture. We do not do a new scripture. We do one scripture over 3 units so that we can make sure that these are truly written in our children's hearts. And then the last thing is character and catechism. And so we have here our character statement, and then we have our catechism over here. And we do our catechism usually for 2 weeks, and then we do our character statement for an entire term, because we want to make sure that our children really go through patience and obedience and attentiveness in the preschool years before they transition up to self-control, kindness, and something else in our primer program. So we have a little bit of a picture just to give them a visual representation. And we also have in your audio files, you'll find a little tune to say these to as well. And then God in Creation CD that is recommended, there's the volume and the track number there too, plus the Big Truths for Little Kids correlation as well. Those are the memory statement cards that you would put on your memory statement board. And if you're curious about a memory statement board, we are providing you with a video tour of one of those very, very soon. So when you watch this, if it's not already on our YouTube channel, then keep an eye out just over the next week or so and you will find one. Now the next set of cards that you'll find are our letter of the week cards. And these have just vintage, really beautiful detailed art on them. We also have our numbers for when we go through our numbers of the week, and then we have our shapes, and then we have our colors as well. And so these are fun to display on the memory statement board, or even just hang around the perimeter of your room for beautiful decor as well. Our preschool morning binder is the kind of a little bit more academic portion of the preschool program. So let's tour through what the pages include. The first thing you'll find is a schedule. Now the preschool morning binder is available by itself. So if you do not have the handicraft and activity guide schedule, you would want to use this as your schedule. But this schedule aligns with the schedule found in your handicraft guide. So you'll find that same information here for math and here for the phonics and handwriting. There is a portion of this that I encourage you to do every day, and it's the first few pages. So ideally you would write your child's name here in very neat handwriting and then slide these into an empty menu cover so that your child can use a dry erase board, or even slip them into a dry erase pouch, which are widely available at dollar stores. Then they'll trace their name and trace their age, and then they can circle or check how they're feeling, which just helps them to begin to develop some emotional intelligence and put some words to how they're feeling. And then we move to our days of the week and our months of the year. There are a lot of songs online for these things, so just find songs that work for you if you want to sing them. Sing the days of the week, sing the months of the year, and then have them just fill in the little bubble or check it or whatever you want them to do. So this is a page that you would not worry about until your child was at least 3, but probably 4. And if today were the 15th day of the month, you would have them circle the 15th. They would write the 1 here in the 10's house and a 5 here in the 1's house. And this is a very, very, very primer way of introducing place value. If you don't want to get in that with your child, then just skip this page. But what we do is then use 10 sticks and 1 units from a unit base 10 block set to build inside of these how many 10s there are and how many 1s there are. If your child's just not getting that, then just skip it. If they do get it, then great. They've begun to understand place value. And then also we do a weather evaluation. So we go outside, we look at the sky, we talk about the season, and then we talk about what the temperature might be. For a 4-year-old, you might have them write the temperature if they're writing numbers, and then have all of your children to circle. The morning binder is especially suggested starting at 3-ish, 3.5, but really not for any child under 3. With a 2-year-old, you're just going to want to focus more on the stories and the recitations and stuff. For basic introductory literacy, we have the Build It, Write It, Find It section. And in the preschool morning binder, we focus on just the capital letter for letter recognition. So we just tell our child this is the letter B. B says B. We focus more on the B sound than we do the name when you're beginning early phonics instruction. Again, we just use Play-Doh, wax craft sticks, or toothpicks to build this out. They can trace it if you want them to write it just one time, and then they just identify the letter down here. And when they have questions like, can we find the letter in a crowd? This is the big daddy capital B. This is the baby lowercase b. And so super simple. You're just introducing the idea. You can use these, or if you don't want to worry about letter recognition at all, then you can skip it as well. You really can't go wrong. It's totally fine to introduce it as long as you have right expectations and understand that they may get it the first time, or they may need some time until they get to that point. The same goes for the number pages. There is the 1 tracing, and then this is a 10 frame that they will bubble in whatever that number is, and then they can match 1, 3, and 2. Very simple, very easy to do. Appropriate expectations are super important, but we go up through, this is not in order, but we go up through 10 in the preschool morning binder. We also introduce some colors and shapes through different pages as well. And so they just see that it's blue. You can have them trace that if you want to, and then circle all of the items that have blue on them. The last thing that you'll find at the bottom of your box is the preschool primer and nature header cards for your memory statement board. This is what they look like. They're not trimmed out. There is a cursive version and a print version, and there is a ton of content in here that you will not use for preschool, but these header cards align with all of our programs, so you can use the cards that you want to create your memory statement board. And again, see that other video for that creation, and then set aside, stick back into the box anything that you're not using this year, because you may use those for a future program as well. So you can see that outside of just your books that you need to procure from the local library, from a friend, from a thrift store, this bundle includes everything you could ever need to implement a complete, robust virtue-focused, heart-focused, family-focused preschool program in your own homeschool. Remember, this teacher's guide is completely free for download, so please go download it. You can find this at gentleclassicalpreschool.com or find it through our shop at Shop Gentle Classical. And you can download it and read through it, and then you can order this bundle printed with the cards cut for you. And then take just a few minutes once you receive your box to organize things by unit. And if you're wanting a little bit more help with organization, keep an eye on our YouTube channel. Over this next year, we are doing as many videos as possible to help make implementing Gentle Classical programs a joyful fun for your family. And so keep an eye out for some organization videos. We have some older videos, but we're trying to increase the quality of our videos that we share here. So maybe use those old ones for now, but keep an eye out on ones in the future. And make sure to stay tuned for our memory statement board overview as well. Thank you for joining us today. Bye-bye.